30 seconds. Season 6 already underway for the Indy 11. After 2 road matches, they open up their second season at Lucas Oil Stadium tonight against Hartford Athletic. A record-setting crowd is expected. Brad Hunter, Greg Rakestraw with you on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Ioze makes his season debut for the Indy 11 this evening. Did not play in either road match in the first 2 matches of the month of March. 4 goals, 8 assists last year for the Indy 11. Another familiar face, this time on the opposing sideline. Wojciech Vucik, better known as Woj. 2 goals in his lone season with the Indy 11. Now plays against the Indy 11 for the first time with Hartford Athletic. Hartford Athletic looking for a first win on the campaign. 0-3 so far. All of those matches coming away from home. Starting lineups, keys to the match, and more come your way next as you're watching Indy 11 soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. So again, our cue, basically, you'll hear the billboards, and then we will lay out until the anthem's done. Yep.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Indy 11 welcomes you to opening night at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Just be ready to lay out.
Please turn your attention to midfield, where performing tonight's national anthem is the lead singer for Chicago's all-line dance music cover band Ear Candy, Courtney.
Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. By Community Health Sports Medicine, dream big, work hard, and finish strong. And by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Great to bring you some of the pomp and circumstance before this record-setting crowd that's expected at Lucas Oil Stadium this evening. While it is our season opener on the broadcast side and from a home opener standpoint, this team has played twice already. They've won one, they've lost one. Early impressions of this team, Brad?
Yeah, I think they need to clean up closing out games, but that's not uncommon this time of year. But I tell you, it's the strongest roster we've seen in our 6 years.
Well, to that strong roster, there's several new faces. There are 4 that we will key on before tonight's match. You can start with defense and last year's Golden Glove winner in Evan Newton, or you can go with goal scoring, like the all-time leading scorer in the history of the USL and Dane Kelly.
So dynamic, brought in so many scoring pieces. It's going to be exciting to see how they come at teams.
Starting lineups presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. We referenced in the open that Ioze is making his season debut. Also the same for Nico Mattern, one of the great roster finds of Martin Rennie and company a season ago.
Yeah, and I think when you've got an injury like Kenny Walker, it brings some stability in when you can bring a guy in that's got the experience he had last year.
On the flip side for Hartford Athletic, while we referenced an old friend in Wojciech Vucic, he will come off the bench in tonight's game. The single striker for Hartford Athletic, Jose Angulo, and while he has yet to net a goal this season, he's capable from literally anywhere on the pitch.
Talented player, one that Indy's got to keep track of.
First ever meeting between these two clubs. Hartford Athletic, one of 4 expansion sides this year in the Eastern Conference in the USL. They are joined by Loudoun United, Memphis 901, and Birmingham Legion. Captains exchanging pleasantries at center field. Evan Newton, we saw his skills in an opposing role last year for FC Cincinnati. One thing of note as we show you Evan's vital information through 2 games, these teams will have a little more ground to cover at Lucas Oil Stadium this season. The field was extended by some 10 yards. What does that mean for how things will play out, not just tonight, but all season long at Lucas Oil?
Well, I think you can stretch the field a little bit more. The fact that it's still 70 yards is going to keep things tight and allow your shifts and rotations defensively to be a little bit easier.
Great look at this tremendous facility. Neville Hackshaw. Hard not to be drawn to that hair, is it not? We saw him a season ago playing for the Charleston Battery. Next to him is Alex Cronali. He too is making his season debut for the Indy 11 tonight. Jacob Lissick on your screen. He will be the man in between the posts for Hartford Athletic. Like many of these Hartford players, they have a connection to head coach Jimmy Nielsen from his days as the head coach of the OKC Energy. He spent 4 years there from 2014 to 2017. A season ago, Lissick was the backup to Romuald Pazer for Penn FC. Martin Rennie, second season as the man in charge of the Indy 11. The job that he did a year ago in the compacted offseason that this team had to be able to put together a competitive roster that was a playoff roster. They were the 7th place team in the East a year ago. Was tremendous. Juan Guerra, now his top assistant coach to his right or to his left. And there you see Jimmy Nielsen. We mentioned his coaching days at OKC Energy. Goalkeeper, native of Denmark, and finished his career at Sporting Kansas City, helping lead them to a MLS Cup earlier in the decade. Our 6th season of Indy 11 soccer on My Indy TV is underway. We thank you so much for joining us. Offside flag goes up, and frankly, you will see a bit more of that from the Indy 11 this year. They're going to push the tempo and tenor of play. You can argue whether they're playing a 3-4-3, 4-5-1, whatever the case may be. But with players like Starikoff, Kelly, and Thomas Enevoldsen, they will be in attack mode, and there is the speed of Dane Kelly on display immediately.
Yeah, that pressure right there causes turnovers like that. The exciting part is you can't just key on one of these forwards. You've got so much talent up top.
Dane Kelly last year with DC United, 68 goals in this league. Of course, it is the rechristened USL Championship. Second year in the USL, but now the USL a 3-tiered structure. USL Championship, USL League One, USL League Two. We'll tell you more about USL League One coming up in halftime of our broadcast. The Brickyard Battalion in full song as per usual. And on a night where there is snow in the area, it is wonderful to be in the great indoors here at Lucas Oil Stadium.
You weren't kidding about that? It's snowing?
No, there's snow outside.
Oh, my goodness.
Went from rain in the 50s to snow in the 30s. Opportunity here for Hartford Athletic. Offside flag goes up. Good high line played by the back line by the Indy 11. Angulo the target, but a yard or two offside.
Yeah, it was just a late step by Pernali that really helped that.
You can see Angulo. Fans in Indy saw him ply his craft for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in their North American Soccer League days as part of 2015 and 2016. And Evan Newton learns about the narrowness of the pitch here at Lucas Oil while they have extended the length of the field, going from football end zone to football end zone. It is still some 70 yards wide. Hackshaw will play it back to Newton, the Virginia Beach, Virginia native. Evan, one of 4 former members of FC Cincinnati that are part of this Indy 11 lineup. 3 of them are on the pitch as we speak. Tyler Gibson, Patty Barrett wearing the captain's armband. The other one, unfortunately, is injured. When we get around to our Community Health Network injury report, we'll share that information with you why Kenny Walker is not playing in tonight's contest. First touch for Pronali for the Indy 11. He has been loaned by the Columbus Crew. Spent last year, though, with Orange County, as did Thomas Enevoldsen. Enevoldsen last year for Orange County, 20 goals. Throw in coming here on the miscue by Hartford Athletic. With that, let's get to our keys this match, presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
Well, we talked about Angulo, and he's so incredibly gifted on his right foot, but he's like from another planet on his left. Indy 11 is going to do well to keep pushing him to his right and keeping him on his right. The other thing, press the back 4 for Hartford Athletic. Last week, they gave up a couple of turnovers, one that cost them the game winner. And so they're still trying to find their way on the back line. A little bit of pressure with these 3 up top could cause some turnovers that could pay dividends. For Hartford, they have to step their line in the back third. Now, Spencer hit an absolute laser from Lou City against them, but he had a ring of 5 yards around him. They gave up a lot of shots between 18 and 25 yards out with 0 pressure, and then they've got to get Rasmussen touches. He's playing as a screen in front of their back 4, and he's the transition between the back line and Angulo.
Hartford Athletic, this is their 4th match of the season. All have been on the road so far. They'll play 4 in April. All of those will be on the road as well as they await construction of Dillon Stadium. They have already been the season opener for Atlanta United 2, the Charleston Battery, and as Brad referenced, Lou City a week ago. They've given up 2 goals in each of their first 3 matches. They've scored 1 in each of the last 2. 4-1-4-1 the formation. Here for Hartford Athletic. Macaulay King will give a corner. Macaulay, a rookie from England, played in the Leicester system as a youth. Young Harris College.
Unbelievable how many players that they have produced in this league.
Ilya Illich, new acquisition for the Indy 11, also played at that small Division II school in northern Georgia. Hackshaw got there first, and that appeared to be a bit of a miscommunication. And now the break is on for the Indy 11. It's 2v1. Nico Mattern streaming forward. He's got Dane Kelly to his right. Mattern slowed, but still able to charge forward. Goes down, no penalty. Foul just outside of the 18, and we will get to see the set-piece magic of Iose for the first time this year.
Tell you, great job by Linga coming back and preventing that ball going out to Dane Kelly.
But there you see it was the right foot. The left foot was great in how he defended Mattern. It was the right foot that created havoc.
See if Iose's in midseason form here.
We continue to be impressed by him every match of the season.
You know, I wouldn't put it out of the thought process to put this on frame, but I think this is when you bend around that wall into the backside and see if you can find Starikoff or Hackshaw on the back.
Iose headed down. Starikoff settles left foot, didn't get much on it. Cronali still not out of danger just yet, and finally knocked back to midfield by Hartford Athletic. And a bit optimistic on the pass that time, and Lissick will make easy work out of it.
That's such a frustrating situation for all players involved. You got the ball at your feet in the box. There's just no chance to get a shot off.
Time now for our injury report presented by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Kenny Walker, an abdominal injury. He will not play this evening. Ilya Illich also not in the 18 tonight. Those are a couple of key pieces not playing tonight for head coach Martin Running. However, he still loves the depth of this squad. Still a very solid 11 put together, not to mention talent off the bench available. Amongst those from a familiarity standpoint, scoring standpoint, Matt Watson, Tyler Pasher. Counterattack going here for Hartford Athletic. But the Turf Monster makes its debut here at Lucas Oil Stadium for the first time this year. Player that was charging forward that time for Hartford Athletic, Sebastian Dalgaard. He is one of 5 Danish players on this Hartford Athletic roster. Of course, Indy has one of those as well in Thomasina Voltsen. Before tonight, our resident Dane around here was you.
That's right, yeah, and I'm only partial Dane by marriage. But I tell you what, Ina Voltsen was actually on his way to OKC when Jimmy Nielsen was there a couple years ago. And then when Nielsen resigned, that's when he went out to, where was he, Orange County?
Correct. 20 goals scored last year for Ina Voltsen.
And you know what's great, and you've seen it in the first couple games. He also got 10 assists. He's a heck of a playmaker. He's got great vision and great touch in finding open guys that his presence creates space for.
Let Dane Kelly chase it. That is part of the game plan for the Indy 11 this year. Kelly sends it in, looking for Eugene Starikoff. Eugene 6 goals for the Indy 11 in just 19 matches played a season ago. He had early season injuries and unfortunately late season injuries, where we didn't see him in that playoff match against eventual USL Cup champion Louisville City.
Yeah, love the way he plays. Just a big-bodied, hard-working, target, blue-collar player. But he also has the finesse game. And I tell you, if he can get a shot on his right foot, he can uncork a missile.
Here is Lee at left back for Hartford. Part of that outstanding and stingy defensive unit from Pittsburgh a season ago. Great recovery by Iose. As Hackshaw played forward, there was a pocket of space for Hartford Athletic and Iose. No more for his offensive prowess, able to close it down.
Yeah, that was a very clever flick off the head. And I tell you, one thing you have to watch with Angulo is how the 4 midfielders tucked in behind him play.
Hackshaw. Ball sent in. Newton had it read all the way. Ball sent across by Jonathan Brown. I'm not sure if it's the style of the way these two teams are playing, or you can legitimately tell a difference in having 10 additional yards on this pitch. It is an open game so far. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Iose.
Now they last week, they put a player on each post, a guy at the front of the 6, and then they left the back a little bit open. That was the way that Hackshaw scored against St. Louis. It might be on here as well.
4 different goal scorers for the Indy 11 this season. Neville Hackshaw the first in the 2-1 loss to St. Louis 3 weeks ago. Starikoff inside of the 6. Hackshaw might have been the target that time, as was Barrett. but well read by Hartford Athletic. And Newton got aggressive on that restart. And Tyler Gibson now does a great job of getting the passing lanes there, because Angulo had numbers in his favor.
Oh, and I tell you, I think if Angulo puts that ball out to Delgard, they're in.
Both teams have left space defensively. It's made it entertaining for the fans. It's made it nerve-wracking for the coaches so far in this matchup.
Yeah, one of the things that Jimmy Nielsen talked about is once they break a line for Indy 11, they want to make sure that they don't slow play up, that they keep going. They don't want Indy to have any of their midfielders help recover into the back three.
Gibson applying pressure for the Indy 11. Young man whose season was shortened last year to an early season training injury at FC Cincinnati. Before that, he and Carl Ouimet were teammates with the San Francisco Deltas. 2017. Ouimet available for selection off the bench tonight. His first substitutes appearance of the season, if he's one of the three selected by head coach Martin Running. Jose with the closeout and deflects it off of the Hartford player. Last touch by Jonathan Brown, native of Wales. This Hartford Athletic Club does have 8 international players, and you may be going, wait a minute, I thought the cap on that was 7. It is. They purchased an additional international slot from Sacramento Republic. Be able to have 8 on the team. Opportunity here, but Lee got there first. Able to beat Macaulay King to the ball. King, a goal scored. Enevolt's in the lead for Kelly.
What a ball.
Kelly.
When you talk about those international players, and as an expansion team, and we saw it last year, Martin brought in a bunch of players he had experience with, and it's the same thing that Coach Nielsen has done here with Hartford, bringing in his OKC former teammates, and then 5 guys from Denmark as well.
He's tried to make this as non-expansion on an expansion club as possible. Cronali with really no pressure around him. Starikov sizing up his options. Plays it down route 1. Onside, Dane Kelly. Kelly charging forward. Kelly cannot get it by Listen.
It's a great save. I tell you, great ball by Starikov to recognize that Dane Kelly is even on the back line and to just put it in space for him to run onto.
Take a look at the replay. You have always loved in the past when I have made references to other sports, how to describe something. Not sure how many hockey references that we've had on the broadcast over the years. That's dump and chase. Just go to the corner, Dane, and go get it, knowing that on most pitches, he's the fastest guy on it. Played at DC United last year, but his appearances were at a minimum in his opportunity at Major League Soccer. Good read by Barrett, but he and Gibson collide. They both appear to be all right. And that's, again, flag goes up. Angulo could not keep that in play. Let's thank our friends at Indiana Members Credit Union. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today.
Hey, one thing when you play with 3 backs, you've got to have goalkeepers that are strong with their feet. It was against Charlotte. There was a ball coming in on Newton, and a defender is closing him down, and he chips him with his left foot, which is not his dominant foot. And I'm looking at that, I'm going, holy cow, that's incredible confidence.
Jose looking for Kelly. Kelly trying to settle it. Kelly didn't get everything on it he wanted to.
What a ball.
Look for contact there, frankly. If you don't go to the turf, you're not going to get that call. Even if you do, you might not either.
Yeah, and there was no reason to go to the turf. It looked like he had a couple of good windows to put that ball in.
Another look at the replay here. And as we do that, Indy 11 on the attack again. Slide
Bang.
through.
Oh, my goodness.
Could not tap it home. Had a wide open net, and in the last 60 seconds, Dane Kelly has just seen why Indy 11 fans were gushing about the play of Iose last year. Kelly may not have an easier look all season long. But that is why last year, when you were asked, hey, who was the most important player for the Indy 11 last year, before you would finish the sentence, Iose would be the answer that was given.
Because as brilliant as he was serving in dead balls and then balls like this through the run of play, he was equally impressive defensively.
Native of Spain, spent 5 years in the New York Cosmos. So we were very familiar with him here in Indianapolis as an opposing player, but frankly, did not appreciate him for the player that he was until he got to Indianapolis a season ago. He and Eugene Starakoff now teammates for a third consecutive year.
Was it Pittsburgh last year, that ball that he drove about 50 yards in the air to Starakoff backside to Bethlehem? Holy cow.
He had the right stick.
Right, that's good for me.
They were both good teams.
Good for me.
I think the phrase was out of nothing that was used before that goal was scored. Opportunity here. And once again, it's Starakoff. The lead for Iose.
There was more that could have been done with that. Had so many opportunities to just thread a ball through a seam in the middle with Voltson and Kelly both making good runs.
And King called for the jersey tug on Sebastian Dalgo. You see Macaulay King, pro rookie, after having played at the Division II level. And there are some small college finds on this Indy 11 roster. King, Young Harris College, Nico Mattern, Indiana Wesleyan. This will make my partner that's the head coach of the Division III level smile. If you're a good player, they'll find you.
And you want validation on that strategy. Take a look at Lou City. I mean, they've done it with a lot of guys who are coming out of schools that you wouldn't expect as soccer powerhouses.
And Kelly down after contact. He hops back up. We play on. It'll be a throw-in coming for the Indy 11. Kelly can take a minute if he needs to. It appears that Dane is all right. Late whistle, but one earned by Starakoff. Eugene, growing up, spent time both in the Ukraine as well as the States. Until he came to play for the Cosmos 2 years ago, all of his professional experience had been in Russia or the Ukraine.
The great part with Starakoff is you never get less than 100%. Never.
That ball was last touched by a Hartford player. Throw-in coming here. 4 different goal scores for the Indy 11 this season. One of them with the throw into another one. King and Voltson throw Gibson into that mix from 15 days ago in the 3-2 victory at Charlotte. One that was a little more nervous at the end than Martin Rennie would have liked it to be. Indy scored twice in the first 20 minutes, then scored again. But the midway point of half number 2 before Charlotte got a couple back. By the way, this portion of the match brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Here's Patty Barrett wearing the captain's armband. Doing that in part because Matt Watson not on the field tonight. Opportunity here. Take away by Hartford Athletic, in the volley sails wide.
You're 25 yards out. You're in a 3-on-2. You got Anguilla on one side, Brown on the other, and you opt to shoot it.
It is Moss Jorgensen. He is just 20 years of age.
The interesting story with him, too, is that Jimmy Nielsen got a call from Denmark, a number he didn't recognize, and didn't answer it. Got another couple calls from that same number. Finally picked it up. It was Moss. Said, hey, you know, I'd like a look. So he does a little bit of research on him and finds out everybody glows about him.
Flag stays down. Opportunity here. Good job by Cronali to close out the space. Ryan Williams played it across. Corner coming. We'll have a special guest joining us here in a matter of moments, but let's get to the corner kick first, shall we? Jorgensen taking his time to set up said corner, and doing so in the Brickyard Battalion end. Service to the top of the 6. Hackshaw got it first. Mattern will settle. Now Hackshaw with some room to operate. Native of Trinidad and Tobago, of course. 2 players from that island nation on the team last year, and Carlisle Mitchell and Nathan Lewis. Enevoldsen plays it forward for Kelly. Can he win the foot race? Doesn't matter. Flag goes up, finds the back of the net, but
it's the right call, just a step.
No goal yet for Dane Kelly in an Indy 11 uniform. Let's take a look at the replay. And just a foot or 2 offside.
That's the thing with great goal scorers. They just live on that line.
Well, let us welcome the brand new CEO of the Indy 11. Greg Stremlaw is joining us for the next few minutes here in the booth. How is night number 1 treating you, my friend?
Fantastic, Greg. It's always nice to get the season underway with the home opener, right? I know we started March 9th, but a little special feeling when it's in your own building.
As of a night ago, you knew you were going to surpass the attendance record from a season ago. That was set at 17,500. We'll announce an official attendance coming up a little bit later in the match. Starikoff, the volley.
Love it.
From some 30 yards away, the left foot did not miss by much. Take a look at the replay here.
So you press this back line, you're going to get some opportunities.
Greg, what has the work been like this week specifically to be as match ready? Not the team, but for your staff in the front office.
No, it's been good. You know, everybody puts in a lot of work over the off season, and you get to see the fruits of the labors with everything coming together. You know, watching the opening ceremony and the big flag being unfurled was rather special as well, and now seeing the boys in blue on our home pitch is even better.
Opportunity here for Ioze. Kelly back post. Enevoldsen near side. Left foot, no. Starikoff could not poke it and keep it on frame, but the opportunities continue to be plentiful for the Indy 11 so far. Player goes down behind the play for Hartford Athletic in Sebastian Dalgar, which gives us more of a chance to catch up with Greg Stremlaw as you see the replay of the latest scoring opportunity for the Indy 11. There's a lot of folks I'm sure you'd like to thank for the way things have turned out this evening. What are some of the ones first and foremost that come to your mind?
Well, certainly the fans, right? I mean, it's all about the fans and having a great fan experience. This is a wonderful facility, and the weather is not doing us any favors right now. There's still cars filing into the parking lot as we speak, literally. But that said, you can only control so much. But definitely want to thank the fans, the Brickyard Battalion, all of our sponsors, you know, corporate or otherwise, all the stakeholders, and of course the team and their families for being, you know, doing what they do.
Many tremendous groups, some that I'll mention that are here in the building tonight. Our friends with the Central Indiana Honda Dealers, Salesforce, Community Health Network, the Cellular Connection, CSO Architects. There are more of those that we'll get to throughout the course of the broadcast. And yes, some snow in the area tonight, but it could be worse. There could be no roof over our heads right now.
That's right. The good thing is the lid is closed, and everybody in here is warm and cozy watching a great soccer game.
In your past, you've dealt with a variety of sports in your days in Canada. What is it like to have a facility like this one that you can at least for now call home?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt this is a world-class facility. You know, we've got great partnership with the Colts and, of course, Lucas Oil Stadium. We're looking forward, hopefully, to having a soccer-specific stadium in our near future. We can set our own schedule, have natural grass, and do a whole bunch of other things, you know, that we're not currently able to do, but we know that, and that's why it's great to have good partners in this, and and still enjoy a great fan experience for the next number of years.
And I think most that are from the area know clearly there's legislature, there's a bill going through the legislature in the state of Indiana as we speak about potentially having that world-class home for the World's Game here in the city of Indianapolis. Kind of give us the latest how that process is coming along.
Yeah, well, as I think many know, it's gone through the Senate, and right now it's in the House, and it's had a hearing a couple weeks ago with Ways and Means, and we like our chances. We think it's the time is right. We think the business model is ideal. We're not looking for a handout. No new state or city appropriations, which is always good. It's a transformational neighborhood development that we think will be a real legacy project for this community. And while it is at the heart of it is anchored by a soccer-specific stadium, I mean, the fact is it is also retail and a boutique hotel and 600 apartments, and you put it all together, and it's about a 20-acre campus that we're looking forward to hopefully seeing it be successful.
11 Park is the title of it. To be able to find out more information, simply search for 11 Park here in the city of Indianapolis. Tremendous fan experience is what you want to have here at Lucas Oil Stadium this year, next year, and beyond until 11 Park becomes a reality. What are some of the changes that fans will experience from, say, year 1 to year 2 here at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Well, we know year 1 was really rushed, right? I mean, we switched leagues, we switched venues, and so we were always trying to react, unfortunately. And I think we've had a much better opportunity to be proactive this year. So even the little things, things like the food and beverage items that are on the menu, actually having things named after the fans and the boys in blue. You've got Indy 11 poutine, you got these types of things. Last year we didn't have our uniform kit available for home opener, which was very disappointing. This year we're stocked and ready, and the merchandise is doing very well so far tonight.
0-0 our score here in minute number 29. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder, and Greg Stremlaw joining us, the CEO of the Indy 11. Our guest for a couple more minutes in tonight's matchup. What has it been like getting to work with Mark Rennie? Clearly you're focused more on the front office side, the business side. He handles the soccer side, but the development of that relationship, what's that been like?
Yeah, no, Coach is a great person and a great coach, and we've built out a really strong relationship so far. It's not only Coach Rennie, it's his whole staff, quite frankly, I've got a lot of sincere appreciation for. So we're spending a lot more time as the front office with the coaching staff, getting to know them more and more. Coach Martin sits in on our senior management team meetings as well every week, which I think is a great cross-fertilization of the business side along with the high-performance side, and that's going to be a continued a goal and mandate of ours.
Even in year number 6, there are those that are unfamiliar with the Indy 11 brand. If somebody were to come to a match for the first time this season, whether it's tonight, May, June, whatever the case may be, what do you want them to walk away with from an Indy 11 match day experience?
I think it's all about value. I think that people come out, they see this facility, they see the product on the field. We think we've got one of the best teams, if not the best team, in our early history. And they're doing it for a fraction of the price in comparison to what other events that happen in Lucas Oil Stadium. So I'd love them to leave this building tonight, not only with a win, of course, but also going home and raving about it to their friends, their family, and other acquaintances, saying, you got to get out there. It's the best value in town.
Long distance ball that Newton is able to quickly gobble up for the Indy 11. Greg, I know you're busy. We'll let you get to it. Congratulations on a great opening night, my friend. Best of luck getting the full 3 points this evening.
Thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate it. Greg Stremlaw, again, the new CEO of the Indy 11, joining us here during half number 1 of our first of 20 telecasts we'll have for you of Indy 11 soccer. You're on either MyIndy TV or Wish TV. Of course, all Indy 11 matches can be seen on ESPN Plus, as is our telecast tonight. Of course, talking about ESPN Plus, you can follow the home team and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Cronali able to step in the way for the Indy 11. This portion of the match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Enevoldson.
Clever ball.
On point from Iose. Sizing up his options, tries to find Dane Kelly. Kelly turns. Kelly offside. And we are being proven to be prophetic, my friend, when we said after the first offside flag, you're going to see that a lot more this year because they're going to push the envelope more often than not.
Yeah, and you've got the talent to do it. You've got the delivery, and you've got the guy on the other end of it. That last second, that run might need to flatten out just a little bit.
Scoring opportunities have been more numerous for the Indy 11, but as you can tell, neither team yet to cash in. Nikolai Linga, one of the 5 natives of Denmark.
20 years old, another 20-year-old. Unreal.
By the way, I referenced this in passing earlier, but my broadcast partner played professionally in Denmark. Apparently signed up for the MRS degree while he was over there as well. Pronounce your wife's name properly in Danish. I can't do it.
Charlotte Grete Jacobsen.
We would say Charlotte here in the States,
right.
but.
Right. Now, it was interesting. I had a good conversation with Jimmy Nielsen.
Kelly can't get there in time. Lissick off his line to make the play.
One of the greatest goalkeepers in the history of this game is Peter Schmeichel. And I had the chance of working with him at Brøndby. But when Coach Nielsen was 15 years old, he's signing his first pro contract. That was when the Danes qualified. It was weird. They didn't qualify for the European Championships. Yugoslavia was in a civil war, so they called the Danes as an alternate, the first alternate. And the Danes came in without any training, and in 1992 won the European Championship as an alternate. It is one of the greatest videos to watch the way that they ran through that table. And Peter Schmeichel, that was where he made his name and got him his opportunity with Manchester United. But Coach Nielsen is 15 years old and a goalkeeper, and Denmark watching this goalkeeping god from his country rise up internationally.
That sounds like something we should talk about on Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. That did not make the show this week. What did was talking with head coach Martin Rennie, CEO Greg Stremlaw, former Indy 11 player that we chronicled in the pregame, Wojciech Vucic, and talked about the Brickyard Battalion as well. You can listen to this Saturday's show and previous shows online after they happen at 1070thefan.com. King plays it forward, and now a foul has been called after the fact against Jorgensen.
And one of the fun things with Dane Kelly is, and you look at this from the midfielders and defenders that pick their head up and look like right here. It's just you see some green grass. Just knock it into that space.
This is out of Iose range. This is more run of play off of a set piece. Quickly defended by Hartford Athletic. Angulo part of that connection from Oklahoma City to head coach Jimmy Nielsen. Angulo had 11 goals in short order with Oklahoma City a couple of years ago. That team made their way all the way to the Western Conference Finals in 2017. Enevoldson got under it.
Yeah, and that pressure from Hartford's got to come a little bit quicker. You can't be giving a free look to this Indy 11 attack. They've had a number of uncontested shots in and around the box.
Fans get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Indy 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Good ball by Barrett. Well done.
Yeah, that was the lanes were closing up for him.
Starikov, Hackshaw on time. Hackshaw plays it across. Ball didn't get to Dane Kelly as Linga got back in the way. When I think of Neville Hackshaw, we've referenced the hair, and I'll keep doing that throughout the course of the broadcast and the season. But think about the run he had for the Charleston Battery and what was the most entertaining Indy 11 game of last year here. It wasn't a satisfying ending, 3-3, but it was his late run in stoppage time that helped the Battery find the equalizing goal here at Lucas Oil on May 30th. Iose plays it in. Starikoff was the target, ruled to have committed a foul. And a restart coming. Let's thank our friends at the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. You can take your business to the next level in a state that works. This is the first home match for the Indy 11 in their third home match of the season. They are not here again until May 1st. You could call the beginning of the season quirky for the Indy 11. They have not played in 15 days. After tonight, they won't play again for 16 days when they play at Swope Park for a first time on Monday, April the 15th. They'll be on the road for 3 in April, but then they will be home for the entirety of May. Hackshaw takes a tumble. Hackshaw grabs his left ankle, and before play is allowed to restart, Neville will be checked out by our match referee. While it was a break last weekend for the Indy 11, it was not a break for Hackshaw. He played for Trinidad and Tobago on international duty over the course of the last couple of weeks. From a standing standpoint, the Indy 11 will kind of be behind the 8 ball a little bit in the months of March and April because they simply don't play that much. They will be sitting on 3 matches played all the way up until April the 15th. Right now they are 11th in the USL Championship table. It's one of the changes from this year to last year. Last year 8 teams made the playoffs. This year 10, as there are 18 teams in both the Eastern and Western Conference.
And it'll all work. Those points will be available later in the year when they need them, and you just can't get too caught up in where you're standing right now.
Bit of a late whistle, but Phil Rasmussen whistled for the foul. And Starikoff, a little worse for wear. He played in 19 matches a season ago, but 6 goals in those 19 matches.
And he takes such a pounding, just the way he plays.
The Indy 11 feel they really have a tremendous rotation as far as players up top between Enof Olsen, Kelly, Starikoff, and Ilya Illich. Illich signed away from Lou City.
Oh, what a touch.
Iose plays it across. Kelly chested in, own goal. Well, Iose was the last Indy 11 man to touch it. A rather inauspicious first goal of the season, but for Hartford Athletic, an unfortunate reminder from last week in Louisville. An own goal puts the Indy 11 in front, 1-0.
And tough for this young kid. It's the second. He was the one that turned the ball over against Lou City that led to the game winner. But I'll tell you, give him credit. He bounced back after that game winner and played a great game after that moment. So, and I was talking to Coach Nielsen, I said the kid's mentally tough. So it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back from this.
In broadcaster speak, that's called laying out. We were just watching because Lisic's face told you what just happened better than anything Brad or I could have said. There's nothing he can do about that.
And I'll tell you, the really difficult part about that is it seems really simple in your head as you're the defender making that play, but the goalkeeper has to call it that close in, because if he's not ready and he's not looking forward or not in the right position, it's going to lead to a moment like that.
Go figure how precise Iose's services generally are. One that somewhat wasn't is what leads to a goal for the Indy 11.
Well, that's what you say. I think he banked it off of Linga.
He did that intentionally, huh? Angulo. Haven't called his name as much. He was offsides anyway, but That header was steered off target. The final 5 minutes of the first half is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Last year, the Indy 11 lost their home opener in front of a record-setting crowd. Over 17,500 were on hand. It is a record-setting crowd until tonight. We'll have that number for you coming up in the second half. Indy 11 2 weeks ago quickly followed up a first goal with a second goal. Mattern thought he was fouled. Official says otherwise. Quickly pointed, said contact with the ball first. We're seeing Nico charge forward a bit more than we saw a season ago. He had one memorable run late in the year in a victory against
I remember that. I remember it.
Red Bulls 2 in September. Let's thank our friends at Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet, see what Delta can do. Well, 5 different goal scores for the Indy 11 so far this year. One of them plays for Hartford Athletic. An OG by Nikolai Linga. He turned 21 last month. Hackshaw to Kelly. And Kelly, that was a stumble. That was not contact on Lee. Let's hope he's all right. He is grabbing, that's the shoulder that took the hit. This turf is relatively new at Lucas Oil Stadium. It was installed during the middle of last season for the Indy 11. Indy 11 went from July 7th through August 15th last year without a home match, in part because this new turf was laid down, and you and I were taking a kind of a walk on it earlier. The pad underneath of it is tremendous. Patty Barrett whistled for the foul. If you're Martin Rennie right now, your thoughts about half number 1?
You're comfortable. You've created a lot of really good chances. You just got to have a little bit more focus in the box.
We have learned early in this season, creating chances not a problem for this bunch.
You might be a little frustrated if you're Hartford right now. You've got Angulo as your target, who's struggling to find his feet. He's winding up, coming back a lot into the midfield to collect that ball. And then as your target, there's he doesn't have the opportunity to play it in.
Ioze again. Ioze goes down. Corner given. No foul. If there was contact, would have been outside of the 18 anyway. It will simply be given as a corner.
And I think on this, Ioze's got to look. He's twice, 2-3 times put that on the front post. I think this has to go back post. There's a little bit of an open channel on the back of the 6.
Kyle Karinga, the player that got tied up with Ioze. Kyle played briefly last year with Tampa Bay Rowdies before an injury ended his season prematurely. Two minutes by the way of stoppage time about to be added, so Ioze can take his time before sending this one towards the 6 or the 18. To the top of the 6, and airmailed everybody on that one. Poked away to safety by Dalgard. Return date for these two will be in mid-July. July 13th to be precise. Of course, this year with 18 teams in both the Eastern and Western conferences, schedule making is pretty simple to figure out. Home and away, everybody on your side. Last year was 16 teams, foul given by Macaulay King. There were 4 teams the Indy 11 would play 3 times, and it was done from a geographic standpoint.
Yeah,
trying to save money expenses. Problem was for all the good teams were.
Right. Yeah.
Cincinnati, Louisville, Bethlehem, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds were the teams the Indy 11 played thrice a year ago. Of course, then turned around and saw Lou City in the playoffs. Lou City now the 2-time defending USL Cup champions. Good ball by Mattern. Chance for one final charge forward here. Good read by Linga. Stay tuned coming up at halftime. Of course, have plenty of highlights from half number one. Let's talk about some of the changes around the United Soccer League this year. None of these changes were announced at the tail end of last season. Now we've got a little more definitive lingo about them, and frankly, as of today, USL League One is underway.
Got a lot of friends in that league.
We do. Let's not give away the entire segment just yet. We're close. And with that, to the end of half number one we go. Well, a bit of an oddity for the goal that was scored, an own goal by Hartford Athletic. Constant pressure provided by Iose finally paid off for the Indy 11.
I love him there in the outside left midfield. It gives him the freedom. And he got forward a lot as the outside back last year, but this gives him the freedom to not have to make that 70 to 80 yard sprint back to recover.
Dane Kelly having a conversation with Indy 11 head coach Martin Running. More chances for Dane can be expected in half number two. The Brickyard Battalion there in mid-season form. Hartford Athletic proven to be a worthy adversary for the Indy 11 in these two teams' first ever match. Indy 11 lead 1-0.
I was done with college. I was done stage managing.
So what does he want? Walk me through here what we're going to do. The graphic that then leads up to the package. Yep. Yep.
Fans, we'd like to recognize the following Indy 11 Youth Club partners in attendance at tonight's match.
Yep.
Oilers FC.
The graphic with the 3 points on it.
FC Pride. Hoosier FC. Indy Premier.
Yep.
Soccer Club.
We're good.
South Central Soccer Academy. St. Francis Soccer Club. Tri-West Youth Soccer. United Soccer Alliance of Indiana. And Zionsville Youth Soccer Association. For more information on how your team please visit
Got it. That's very specific. How you doing, Marlon? I'm good, buddy. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, halftime for the Indy 11's home opener. 1-goal advantage over Hartford Athletic. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you here on MyIndy TV and ESPN+. Mr. Hodder, your thoughts on half number one?
Yeah, you're excited. You've created a lot of good chances. You can't think of really any time that Hartford Athletic was overly dangerous in your defensive third. I think you're probably comfortably uncomfortable right now because of how St. Louis and Charlotte have played out, where you've had the lead and then let it escape.
Hartford Athletic, one of the new teams that the Indy 11 will face this season. Many changes, as happen from year to year in any soccer league. Let's talk about the ones that have the most impact on the USL. First of all, The Indy 11 added some great new players in the offseason. Nashville SC did exactly that as well. How about two 20-plus or more goal scorers in Cameron Lancaster to go along with the tremendously talented Daniel Rios last year in North Carolina.
Unbelievable. You take a look at Indy 11 and you take a look at Nashville on paper, those rosters are impressive.
We referenced this earlier. Again, one of 4 expansion sides the Indy 11 will play this year tonight in Hartford Athletic. Birmingham Legion, Memphis 901. They're in part owned by Tim Howard, and Loudon United, which is the affiliate club of DC United.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see because so many of these players are familiar names and faces for us, and seeing how they come together with their new clubs.
One thing, though, that there has not been over the last couple of years in professional soccer in North America really is kind of a third tier, with Major League Soccer being 1, the USL being 2, the NASL was at that level as well. But now there is USL League 1, and some very familiar faces for Indy 11 fans. Chattanooga, coached by former Indy 11 head coach Tim Hankinson, with Eamon Zayed, Colin Falvey, and Forward Madison, led by the architect of the Indy 11 in Peter Wilt, and their first signee, Don Smart, one of 2 players in Indy 11 history with over 100 appearances. So there are some of the faces you know that are playing in League 1, and here's more about the all-new USL League 1. So again, the Indy 11 now part of the USL Championship, the top tier in the United Soccer League. USL League 1 begins play literally this weekend. Best of luck to all those teams, and I think we're going to make it a point to go watch Chattanooga and Forward Madison at some point in time during the course of the year. Again, our score here at Lucas Oil Stadium on an own goal by Hartford Athletic. Indy 11 leading by a score of 1-0. Here is the updated table in the USL's Eastern Conference. And St. Louis FC, the team that defeated the Indy 11 3 weeks ago, in action earlier today. A goal in the opening 5 minutes. That held up. They beat Charlotte 1-0, and they currently are atop the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it is early, but anytime you can bank some points, you feel good about it.
And with the Indy 11 in action, that has at least put them back into the top 10. Again, they could go further a little bit, but folks, don't get too worried about the standings just yet. This is match 3 for the Indy 11. They've got 31 more to play after this one. Here is the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Crown Plaza Union Station downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. Again, St. Louis already 1-0. There was a delay because of weather for Lou City and Birmingham Legion, and some of the other notables in the Eastern Conference. Pittsburgh and Bethlehem Steel, the all-Pennsylvania derby, 1-1 in that one.
Yeah, weird to see Pittsburgh giving up goals. How different a year is.
Charleston Battery and North Carolina FC in the Southern derby as well. That one 0-0 at halftime. Again, our halftime show continues in a matter of moments. Second half action is not far away. 1-0. Indy 11 has the lead here on MyIndyTV and ESPN+. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. By Community Health Sports Medicine, dream big, work hard, and finish strong. And by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Not too far away from the start of second half action, and you can see there is some form of precipitation taking place outside of Lucas Oil Stadium. It's why it's great to be either inside Lucas Oil Stadium or watch tonight's match on ESPN Plus or MyIndyTV. 1-goal advantage for the Indy 11. There was a should have been a goal, a lot of close to being a goal, and eventually an own goal that got us to this point. Brad, our first half highlights.
You know, this is incredible how Ioze can just pinpoint little pockets and then deliver that ball where it's right on stride for somebody.
Ioze was a big part of generating numerous scoring chances, but as you could tell, he wasn't the only guy involved.
No, it's incredible. You know, Starikoff has got 2 near misses. Dane Kelly a couple near misses. Ina Voltson's right buzzing around the box as well. This could be 2-0.
The own goal by Nikolai Linga. Getting the ball set in by Ioze. Trying to split the difference between Ina Voltson and Kelly. All worked out for the home team. Here's your first half highlights. Stats, possession, about what we expected, tilted in favor of the Indy 11.
Yeah, I think the shots is pretty indicative of how this match settled in the last 20 minutes where Indy took control. I think early on it was fairly even back and forth, and then once you started getting Dane Kelly getting loose up top a little bit, things changed.
4 offside flags against the Indy 11. I think all of them were against Dane Kelly.
Could be.
In half number 1. As the fans get ready for action in half number 1. Time now for our coaches interview as well. Martin Running, head coach of the Indy 11, joins us now. Coach, your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes of play?
Yeah, I thought it was an exciting half. I thought we played pretty well, created some really good chances. Obviously, it would have been nice if we could have taken a couple of those, but we deserve to be ahead. I think generally we're playing well. We just need to be a bit more composed in front of goal, keep moving the ball quickly, and stay very focused on our pressure and our defending.
Any special message to your guys at halftime?
Just really that. Keep the pressure up, keep the defensive focus, keep passing the ball quickly. The diagonal balls are opening chances up for us, and then just in front of goal, lots of confidence, but a lot of focus and composure.
Coach, thanks. We'll talk to you after the match.
Okay, thanks.
Head coach Martin Running, as always, appreciate his time in the midst of a match, and we'll talk to he and other members of the Indy 11 as part of our Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show. Next time, the Indy 11 will be at home Wednesday, May 1st, when they take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Chance to see former Indy 11 man Zach Steinberger as part of the Rowdies this year. Former Butler product, already has 1 goal for the Rowdies this season. Next 3 will be away from Lucas Oil Stadium, and all against talented teams. Swope Park again, that was not a team the Indy 11 played last year because they were in the Western Conference. They and St. Louis bumped east this past year. We know how good both Bethlehem and Red Bulls 2 were a season ago, both playoff sides. And North Carolina FC is here on May 4th, and good things have seemingly always happened when North Carolina FC has been involved with the Indy 11.
And not just good things, but historic things have happened. That's been a club that Indy's had the number of.
The artist formerly known as the Carolina Railhawks, but they are here some 5 weeks from now. Appears no changes for either side to start half number 2, and we are underway here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Throw-in coming here for the Indy 11. Any tactical tweaks you see from either side to start the second half, Brad?
Well, it'll be interesting. I don't think there's any tweaks right here positionally, but I'd love to see Hartford try and build a little bit more through Rasmussen to try and find Angulo. And the only thing that needs to change for Indy is that focus in the box. Everything else is clicking.
Kelly makes contact with Rasmussen and immediately offers a hand as the foul is called. Rasmussen, one of the more veteran players on this Hartford athletic roster, having turned 30 earlier this year. Lee plays it in. Ooh. An odd bounce.
Yeah.
Off of Tyler Gibson. Gibson had the second goal. Let's take a look at the replay of, well, again, was off an extended arm, but I think it was played from a position where it was not an intentional. And now a foul called against the Indy 11. Foul drawn by Jonathan Brown. Brown, again, one of those many players making the jump from OKC Energy. Join Hartford Athletic. But Brown, a native of Wales.
And you got Linga at 6'5", lurking around the back post, and you know he'd love to get this match even.
Hartford did score in each of their last 2 matches, both 2-1 losses at Charleston and Lou City. Just a one-man wall here for the Indy 11. Jorgensen will send it in. Ball played short, quickly knocked backward by Macaulay King.
Yeah, you're going to want that one back. I think one of the things that you have to do in those situations is eliminate that first defender with the serve.
How much of that is being such a new team, or by match 4 should that stuff be worked out?
Yeah, no, that's basic. It's a common thread no matter who you're playing with, is whether it's a corner kick or a restart. It's that first line of defense just can't be the thing that the ball goes into. Long distance ball. There's Kelly.
Settling touch for Ioze. Just a bit strong that time for Ina Voltson. The pressure by King. This is the eyeball test from having seen last year's Indy 11 team versus first time seeing this group in person. The speed at which this group can attack is so different from a year ago. Left foot directly rolled towards Lissick in goal.
Now, you do talk the eyeball test, and the part with that too is it feels like every ball that's served forward has a chance.
Foul whistle. Just shy of the midfield stripe. We've referenced so many of the groups that have made tonight's game possible. Let's thank our friends at the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Indy 11 team, 13 wins, 10 draws, 11 losses a season ago. All added up to be a playoff team last year. Second postseason appearance in the, at the time, 5-year history of the club. And here goes Ioze. He can cover a lot of ground quickly on a pass. He can do so on his feet as well. Jorgensen commits the foul. He's going to get a talking to. There was nothing close to a card that was shown in half number 1. And I think we'll still say cardless to this point. Take a look. That was not a card for the viciousness of the tackle. It was more about the prevention of the scoring chance, potentially. I think it's been a well officiated match so far. Lucas Zapala, our referee tonight. Cronali whistled for the foul. Just a reminder, fans, you can check out the USL Power Rankings. Who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday on the official USL Championship Power Rankings only at USLChampionship.com. Cronali got tied up that time with Ryan Williams. Williams played last year for Tranmere Rovers. That ball, Angulo able to get to it. Flag stays down. Opportunity here. And the blast. Wow. Up and over the bar. That was Jorgensen.
That was an impressive strike. I thought he was going to just touch it out to Angulo. And Angulo's got this really clever knack of being able to bend the ball in behind the back line.
Just 3 shots in the first half for Hartford Athletic. Kelly trying to get past DeVitt. He does. Left foot off the post.
3 games, 3 posts he's hit.
He's used to leading the league in goals, not paint.
It's going to be there. It's going to be there. I mean, you look, 3 games, three balls that have hit the post. Every time that you have an opportunity to see him against your high back line, they're putting that ball up there for him, and he's got breakaways, he's got opportunities, he's got shots. It's going to come.
He's able to easily get past DeVitt, who we saw a year ago when he played for FC Cincinnati. We referenced numerous times the OKC tie to this Hartford Athletic Club. But there are numerous other players that played elsewhere in the league a season ago, much like the Indy 11. Nabil Hackshaw, one of those that played for the Charleston Battery last year, and there'll be a corner coming for Hartford Athletic. And while this has been a match that the Indy 11 have seemingly been in control of, it's still just a 1-goal lead, and on an own goal at that. Ball sent in. Hackshaw got there first, and Barrett will take care of the rest. Both sides probably feel they could have handled that one a little bit better.
Right.
Fans, you can download the official Indy 11 app now to be the first to receive breaking team news and highlights. Available on the app stores for Apple and Android devices. Pressure. Starikov just couldn't get a boot to it in time off the near takeaway by Kelly.
And you've referenced it that the 11 is the stronger team and they're creating more opportunities, but this game is wickedly cruel. If you keep it at 1-0, there's the chance that all those opportunities that have been missed are going to come back and bite you.
King did a good job to stay in the way. Evan Newton gave him a scare. A long distance left foot coming from Lee. Lee doesn't get that far of the field that often. He was going to take his chance. He didn't miss by much.
Gotta love the connection between Hackshaw and Kelly. And every time he gets the ball out wide, he's taking a look, and Dane Kelly's adjusting his run so he can hit that space with a full head of steam.
He played for Trinidad and Tobago during the break for the Indy 11, the international break that most of the major club teams in the world observed last weekend. Appeared as a sub in the match versus Wales for Trinidad and Tobago. Iose whistled for the foul. As he clips Jonathan Brown. Indy 11 looking for their first win in a home opener in franchise history. 2014, a draw against Carolina.
Are you going to rattle off all?
2015, draw against Ottawa. 2016, I think it's Ottawa as well. 2017 was also a draw because the first 6-7 matches of 2017 were all draws. And last year, a 1-0 loss to FC Cincinnati.
You're ridiculous. You realize you're not right up here.
You've known me for 6 years. You know this by now.
It's incredible. Uh-oh.
Back post ball. Either Barrett or Gibson got to it first. Again, looking back post, Hackshaw got there. Reference the fact that 2 goals have been allowed by Hartford Athletic in each of their matches this season. You can say the same thing for the Indy 11. Right. Gave up 2 goals in a loss to St. Louis FC. And of course, 2 goals, both coming relatively late, but not late enough where it didn't have an impact on the end of the game against Charlotte 15 days ago. Dominic Oduro with the first goal for Charlotte 15 days ago, and then Andrew Gutman, one of the many recent Indiana Hoosiers. Angulo, shoulder-to-shoulder tackle by Hackshaw. Well done by Hackshaw. Iose with the win in midair, but deemed to have been a little too aggressive on the challenge, and they'll get the first card of the match. It belongs to Iose. It is the 3rd yellow of the season, picked up by a member of the Indy 11. Hackshaw and Barrett, the other 2. So first booking of the night belongs to the guy that, frankly, has been the man of the match so far for the Indy 11. Perhaps it was the extended arm that drew the ire of the official. Neither team has used a substitution yet. It's a good looking ball there that Hackshaw read well. Well, clearly the pressure has been cranked up here by Hartford in half number 2.
Well, I think that momentum and that energy sometimes comes from, you know, the fouls. Some of these fouls have been unnecessary, and you're giving them second looks instead of them having to build and create. They're getting free opportunities to knock that ball into the box, and that's swinging the momentum, the energy, and the field position a little bit.
Most of the opportunities down the field for the Indy 11 have not been through long buildups. They've been through long passes so far. And when you've got that speed, that's the perfect counter for Hartford, turning up the intensity and throwing more numbers forward, going the opposite direction. Like right there. Starikoff.
Oh.
Right idea.
Little spin when that ball hit the turf.
And then Gibson and Macaulay King on the same page.
And Indy needs to get back to a little bit more possession and build instead of trying to free dink. Just make Hartford defend for a little bit. Swing a little bit of the momentum, the energy back.
This Sports the Match brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Season debuts for Iose, but also Alex Cronali. Good looking ball here.
Great touch.
Angulo sends this one towards section 126.
Yeah, and the thing, Brown and Angulo are really connected very, very well. When Angulo pops out wide left, Brown from his outside right midfield spot is making a slashing run back post. It's how he scored in the first 6 minutes against Lou City, and he was looking for the ball there. Angulo pulled the trigger for the shot instead.
Angulo and Jorgensen were tied in terms of the team lead of shots taken entering the match with 9. The goal scorers Rasmussen and Brown, each with 1 goal apiece. Enevoldsen. And now Gibson. And Barrett does a good job of getting in the way. Barrett, one of the players that has played every minute of every match so far this year for the Indy 11. Of course, this is match number 3. You're not surprised when you have several guys that have done that. A season ago, Owain Fawn Williams became the 2nd player in franchise history to accomplish that fact. Christian Neat being the other. Well, those are both goalkeepers. Little, not easy, but easier to accomplish that feat.
I'd argue that. You know how many times you just jam a finger in practice?
Sometimes I say things just to set you in motion. If you cannot tell, you know by now that Brad is an emeritus member of the International Goalkeepers Union. And Gibson in trouble here. And then will stop play. Quick restart was wanted by Hartford Athletic. And because contact was made with the extended arm by Gibson, even while on the turf, reason play was slowed because a yellow has been shown to Gibson. So now yellows in the last few minutes shown both to Gibson and Iose. Clearly momentum has turned in favor of Hartford. Can they cash in with it? Great pressure applied by Rasmussen.
He took a shot from further than this against Lou City last week and hit the crossbar. Had the keeper beat.
He'll blast it in. And Newton makes the save. Evan may have seen the same piece of tape that you did.
Unbelievable. I'm going to shoot from 45 and be dangerous.
That is a corner coming.
That had a little dip on it. Oh, that had a little tail too. That was a nice ball.
Well, Newton had it covered. It was by no means easy. Looking back post. Barrett got there. Ma turned the flick. And now Starikoff. And Kelly for a moment going forward. While the break was halted.
Oh my goodness.
Possession a good thing.
I love that ball.
The Indy 11 have not had all that much in the way of possession in half number 2.
Here's where you got to hold it for a bit here, make them defend.
Will be a substitution coming in a matter of moments. And it's not a familiar friend in terms of having played for the Indy 11, but a guy that now has played against the Indy 11 in each of the last 6 seasons. We'll talk more about him when he makes his debut in this match in a matter of moments. Fans, you can follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch Championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Giuseppe Gentile entering the match. He has now played against the Indy 11 with the San Antonio Scorpions, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, Puerto Rico FC, and last year with the Richmond Kickers. So first substitution of the match, and he is an attack-minded substitution.
And they pulled off a defender form, so you look at maybe there's a little tactical adjustment where they're putting some more numbers up front and going to try and capitalize on this momentum that they've got right now.
Starikoff draws the whistle. Jose the target that time, for headed away by Jorgensen for Hartford. Hackshaw, good looking ball. Kelly had a little bit in on him, but still,
wow, that's
from that angle, fantastic ball.
That's a really, really tough serve.
I'm not sure Kelly was expecting that one from that spot. King immediately comes up a bit lame at the end of that play. Again, the good news for the Indy 11 is they are off after this game for 16 days. So if there's a bit of a nick or a strain from tonight's contest, you can take it easy for a while.
This is a tough one. He came down a little bit awkward, and it wasn't like, you know, it's not a cramp where he was grabbing.
Macaulay King getting checked out. He will quickly. The fact that he's able to walk to the side is obviously a good sign for the rookie from England. His night still might be over with, just as a precaution to be sure. And Matt Watson, normally wearing the captain's armband. I thought he had a fantastic match against Charlotte 2 weeks ago. Could be coming in soon. Starikoff chips it forward for Kelly or Enevoldsen. Lift for Iose, left foot. Lissick got just enough of it. And then a foul and a card will be shown against Nico Mattern for his collision with Giuseppe Gentile.
Listen, the exciting thing for Indy 11, when you pick that ball up in the midfield and you look and you've got Inner Voltson on one side, Kelly and Starikov in the center and on the other side, and then Iose slashing up on the wide flank, you have so many options.
The third card of the half shown against the Indy 11. And as we learned a year ago, Nico Mattern has no issues with it getting physical on the field, the native of Germany. Good ball by Cronali. Can Gibson win the foot race? Yes, he can. King is back on the field. It's 11v11. That ball was deflected. Sports Tonight's match presented in part by Ivy Tech. Career start here. Apply for free at ivytech.edu. So Matt Watson, in his second year with the Indy 11, played a little bit of a different role than he's used to. Played kind of on the flanks first couple of matches of the season. And he'll be coming in for Eugene Starikov. Anyway, great to see our buddy John Kaluder here at the match tonight. Welcome back aboard the Indy 11, my friend. Good to have you. Now the Senior Director of Communications for the Indy 11. Dane Kelly. It will be Starikov, by the way, that is scheduled to exit. Maybe there's still one more goal in the offing left for Eugene.
What a run.
Iose plays it across. But unfortunately in between a trio of Indy 11 players. The Sports of the Match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. This Indy 11 team last year showed a propensity for winning 1-0 matches. Haven't really seen that so far this season. They may need to tonight. So Eugene Starikov will exit. Matt Watson will enter his first substitute appearance of the year. A man that played 1 year of college soccer at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. But now has played 14 years professionally here in North America, including playing for Martin Runny when he was the head coach of the MLS Vancouver Whitecaps. Turn makes contact again. He's got to be careful. He's playing on a yellow. Both teams with 2 substitutions remaining. Some space to operate here.
Ooh, well
knocked
done.
away from the
well
6.
Done.
Counter opportunity here. Inner Voltson leads the charge. Gentile racing back, trying to slow down Dane Kelly. And possession valued right now by the Indy 11.
You got fresh legs and Matt Watson hanging out on the backside if Iose can find him.
Well, how about Nico Mattern? Right idea. Matt had just broken in as Nico sent that ball across the way. Those two guys often were central midfield teammates for the Indy 11 a season ago. Of course, with that, it certainly merits a mention. This is the first Indy 11 home match without Brad Ring on the roster.
Wow.
With Brad retiring in the offseason after spending the last 5 years of his pro career with the Indy 11, still residing in the Indy area. Tyler Gibson now wearing that number 4 for the Indy 11 this season. profiled former Indy 11 man Wojciech Vucic in the pre-match build-up. He's about to enter this match as well. The next stoppage in play. Watson plays it across. Just headed away from Iose. Mattern gives it a go, but did not get on it what he wanted to. Fans, you get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Indy 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club.
That run by Matt Watson, that was something that he did so well for Indy 11 last year. Just attack that edge defender, get behind and break a little bit inside of the front post, commit the defender, and then slot that ball back.
Wojciech Vucic on 4 for 4. I'm stopping right there. Woj for the rest of the match is on the field. Spent 2015 with the Indy 11, scored 2 goals for the Indy 11. He was then loaned out to Jimmy Nielsen, the OKC Energy, in 2016. Then signed outright by OKC in 2017. Played last year for the New York Cosmos, now back in the USL with Hartford Athletic, and then is whistled for a foul against Matt Watson on his first touch of the match. We had a chance to catch up with Woj for the game. Same great kid as he always was.
Good. You say kid, that's what I think too. I think
he's 27
he's in
now.
his 4th year, 5th year.
Played at Bradley University. He is from the Chicagoland area. He's Polish-American, and he's got a lot of friends and family that made the short drive down I-65 tonight to watch him play. So 1 sub remaining. Great work by Ina Voltsen. Outraced DeVitt to track down that ball. Jose could not weave it through. Jonathan Brown. Well, scoring chances have not been as plentiful for the Indy 11 here in half number 2 as they were in half number 1.
And the tough part, when you let a team hang around, they start getting a little second wind, a little bit of life.
But now a speed merchant is being brought on by the Indy 11. Tyler Pasher will make his 2nd appearance of the season. And if there was a positive memory other than the overall crowd from last year for the Indy 11 in their opening match, it was watching Tyler Pasher fly down the left flank repeatedly against FC Cincinnati. Unfortunately, his season was cut short by a neck injury last year. Played 9 of the first 10 matches, but we didn't see him much in the second half of the year. And this is exactly the type of player you want to bring in. Fresh legs and then some.
He does. He stretches defenders.
He scored for the Indy 11 in a road win early in the season against North Carolina FC. Last year in early April. Asher, the native of Canada, his 2nd year with the club. Both teams down to 1 substitution remaining. Ball at the feet of Woj. One of the things that Martin Rennie talked about in previewing this team. Jimmy Nielsen loves those tall strikers. Could be dangerous here. Angulo trying to carve out some space. Barrett puts his body on the line to win that ball back for the Indy 11. Angulo asking about contact. There was equal parts going back and forth. Let's take a look here. Deflection from both Iose and then Cronali.
And you've had 2 inadvertent handballs in the box. I don't think you're going to get a 3rd. You're going to have to be very, very careful.
Fans, for standing stats on the latest USL Championship news, be sure to visit USLChampionship.com. Ina Voltsen, right idea, just he and Pasher not on the same page. Gibson able to keep the attack going for Indy. Kelly, the target. But DeVitt had him covered. Miscue there. 3v2 here. Angulo looking for Woj, and Barrett recovers.
Those are just tired legs. That's a ball he cannot afford to miss at that point in the game.
King.
It's a really good decision.
Yep. Doesn't play like a rookie, does he?
No, that's a really, really good decision.
He is the second player that's formerly spent time in the Leicester system as a youth for the Indy 11. Other guy worked out pretty well. Name was Ayman Zayed.
Heard of him.
Leading goal scorer in franchise history. Pasher couldn't handle the first touch, and then gives the foul as Ryan Williams goes to the turf.
That's one of the great things with Pasher's speed is you can't separate it from him. You may get a step, but he'll be right back on you.
Sean Pasher combined to lift that ball 15-20 yards back of the 18. Kelly trying to stay on side. Has the run timed out now. Pasher's got Gibson to his right, but elects to play it back to Ioze. Now Gibson. Good looking turn. Enevoldsen. All deflected away. What's your thoughts on Cronali in his first match in Indy 11 uniform, Brad?
He's been steady. He's done well in the air.
On loan from the Columbus Crew. Played last year with Orange County. Third and final substitution about to enter for Hartford Athletic. Next stoppage in play. Max Steves will enter. Indy 11 have gotten at least a point out of every home match in this building since July 7th. Trying to extend that streak and make it the full 3 here tonight. Sebastian Dalgard will exit for Hartford Athletic. More size coming in. Steve's at 6'4" and 215 pounds. He played in the Western Conference last year. Rio Grande Valley. The teams from the East do not see the teams from the West. Kelly splits 2 defenders.
Oh my goodness.
Pasher.
How clever.
Good takeaway though by Linga. King. He and Pasher are on the same page. Throw incoming, restart a quick one. O'Nally closes him down yet again. One substitution remains for the Indy 11. Is there a goal remaining for either side of this game? Gentile.
It's not a bad idea.
Next time the Indy 11 are at home is on May 1st. They take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Question is, can the next home crowd match this home crowd? 20,000 to 5-1.
Wow.
The all-new single-game attendance record. Congratulations to the Indy 11. Congratulations to soccer fans here in the state of Indiana for coming out in droves tonight. Had some great groups there. We mentioned some earlier. More to share with you. Deem LLC, Heritage Environmental, and Lee Supply. Thanks to all of those and many more. Help set this attendance record at Lucas Oil Stadium tonight. And the 11 not minding taking some extra time for the restart here.
Oh, great speed just to chase it down. We had a little matchup. I'm a little concerned. Looks like, you know, Macaulay King is a little tired at this point, and they've moved Angulo out on the left.
Throw in coming here by Brown. Good work by Barrett. If Iose was the man of the first half for the Indy 11, Barrett might be that guy in the second half for Indy. And Gentile runs out of real estate. Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of this match. Brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Good sign or a bad sign that Jimmy Nielsen's talking to a security guard?
He's an interesting conversation. He's a fun guy.
Pasher off to the races. Ball checks up for him. Ina Volson and Kelly in support. Now Macaulay King looking for Pasher. Ina Volson will settle.
That's a great run by Ina Volson.
Iose, right foot.
Oh.
Everything with Iose is left.
Yep.
Left. We rarely see him go back to the right, and did so splendidly there, just up and over the bar.
Had that card up his sleeve, threw it at the right time.
I'm not sure we saw that card the entire year last year, Brad.
It's been saving.
Did not miss by much.
But yeah.
4 goals last year for Iose, 3 of them on spot kicks.
Yeah, he knows too. He had that corner.
Another one was on a set piece, and it was a beauty. You know, what was the Indy 11's entry into the match of the year category league-wide. The 3-3 win, or 3-3 draw against the Charleston Battery. Match we talked about last year from May 30th featured a goal for each side after the 90th minute. And Barrett goes down to the turf. He has given it his all and then some in tonight's game. Indy does have one more sub available. If Patty has to end his evening a bit early. Part of that group of 4 that did not make the jump with FC Cincinnati to Major League Soccer. Instead made the trip up I-74 to play for the Indy 11. Just a bit too much on that ball for Iose. It's a real estate ball that time. Just get it out of danger.
Just keep your shape. Keep your shape. Allow everybody to get their legs.
He will knock this ball forward. And Hackshaw Finds Watson. Opportunity here.
Trouble here.
Asher. Options both right and left. Flag is down. Kelly is off the post again.
My goodness.
He gets a pat on the back from the keeper in Lissick.
And he had Ina Voltson back post for the tap in.
And a cruel last touch of the match for Dane Kelly as he is about to exit. He's hit post in stereo tonight. And then had the wide open net that lifted up and over the bar early in the contest. Not his night. There'll be many more for him. And this is one of the great stories for the Indy 11 about to enter. Aliun Diakite. He came through an open tryout to make the Indy 11 in February. Paid his way to come to the tryout. Not an invite. Now appearing in his second match for the Indy 11. Newton will watch that ball go through the 6 and then the 18. And Iuze will try to get that ball as far away as possible. So both teams now have used their full complement of substitutions. 4 minutes of added time still yet to go. We're at Lucas Oil Stadium this evening. Ball sent in. Quickly headed away. Either Barrett or Watson got to it. Either way, throw in coming for Hartford Athletic. That'll be a corner. Macaulay King got the last boot to it. Nervous moments remain for the Indy 11.
That's a good serve.
Watson. Stay in front of Steves. Watson. And a similar run against Charlotte last week. Off to the races goes Matt Watson. Inside the 18, plays it across, sitting for Ina Voltson.
Oh, what a save.
Got in the way.
What a shot, what a save. He had him beat low far post, and Lissick comes up with an amazing kick save.
And Lissick, a young netminder, has not had much of an opportunity until this year. He's been solid tonight. Remains a 1-goal game. King, rather curious ball that time. Good win in the air by Barrett. Well done by Diakite. Quick restart. Diakite able to track it down. Flag stays down. And that, no, going to be a foul before it. A foul before it. Looked like it could have been a penalty. Instead, that's being called a foul outside of the 18 on Diakite.
I was looking at this. I'm saying, why play this ball early? But home, that was a dangerous opportunity.
DeVitt, the worst for wear. Let's take a look right here. And it's the contact with the extended arm is the reason for, instead of a goal opportunity for the Indy 11.
Well, that sounds different when 20,000 people are saying it.
So Hartford not out of chances just yet. you're right. I was having the same thought. I'm not sure this is the time for the quick restart, but the chance that was generated was worth it, right? Indy 11 fans asking about a foul committed against Tyler Pasher by Ryan Williams. They do not get the favorable whistle. Deflection by Watson. Diakite couldn't track it down.
My goodness.
However, it had to be volleyed away by Hartford, which means more time can be wasted. And you see Martin Rennie saying, corner, get to the corner. With just 20-ish seconds left to play in this season opening match. Diakite draws the foul. Maybe not exactly the textbook way you kill off time, but it appears to be effective nonetheless for the Indy 11. The Indy 11 did the last time they lost a game in this building. It was a 1-0 game, and it was on an own goal, July the 4th against Ottawa Fury. They may be in the reverse of that tonight. And Iose plays this to Pasher, and Pasher is going to try to do a big bunch of nothing with this. It is deflected off of Giuseppe Gentile. The time has got to be of the essence here. Already past our allotted 4 minutes of stoppage time. No glance at the wristwatch just yet. None is needed. Final whistle sounds. The Indy 11. And perhaps not as high-flying a fashion as expected, but it's all about the end result. And for the second time in 3 matches, the Indy 11 take 3 points home with them.
Exciting to watch. He left a few goals on the table, but when you can come away from with the 3 points with that many opportunities hitting the post and putting the ball over the bar, all those things balance out, and they'll come back at the end of the season. They'll wind up in the back of the net.
The Indy 11 now head into a 16-day break with their second win in as many tries since March 15th. It was an own goal off of Nikolai Linga at the end of the first half that adds up to an Indy 11 victory. Back to wrap it up next on My Indy TV. Time now for our shot of the match, brought to us by West Fork Whiskey, Indiana's premier whiskey distillery. An unfortunate own goal leads to a fortunate result for the home side. The Indy 11 had the better of it. You will always have the better of it, courtesy of our friends at West Fork Whiskey. Brad, your thoughts on this one?
It's going to be an exciting year. There's so many different ways that the 11 can come at teams, so many different pieces that can create opportunities and break down defenders.
We have focused so much on this team's ability to find the back of the net. Your thoughts about their goal prevention tonight? First clean sheet.
Yeah, that was the first clean sheet, but there were also no really dangerous opportunities. You know, Angulo is a very, very dangerous player and pretty much kept him from impacting the game at all.
For those of you on ESPN Plus, our broadcast is about to wrap up. For those of you on My Indy TV, stay tuned. The Central Indiana Hyundai Dealers postgame show comes your way next. In front of over 20,000 at Lucas Oil Stadium, the Indy 11 find the back of the net enough one time to get the victory. Thanks for joining us on My Indy TV.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.